kind of had like a punch at the beginning. Like, hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2020 Jeep Wrangler that is in the North Edition. Now the reason that I picked out this package is I think this is actually a really cool package. It's a great value, so we'll get into that later in the video. But as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for providing us with the North Edition. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get into the video. Under the hood of this particular North Edition, we have the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy around town is 21. On the highway, it's 22. Power output's 270 horsepower and then 295 pound-feet of torque. Now on the front end of this North Edition, we have the LED lighting group. So you get full LED lights for the headlights, you get LED turn signals, all that. So pretty normal right here. And then because this one is a Sahara, you'll notice that the fenders are body painted. And this one is finished in what is called Sting Gray. So you get the fog lights there and then Jeep signature front end grille. But other than that, things are pretty normal up front. Now coming around to the side here, we get two 55mm tires on 18-inch rims. They are all-terrain tires, and this is part of the North Edition package, which I really like. Adds a little bit of extra capability to a normal Sahara. Now you actually still get the Sahara badging there on the side, Jeep, and then the Wrangler badging, running boards that go along the side of it. And then here is your full side profile on this North Edition. Here's the key fob for the North Edition Wrangler. So it's just like any other Wrangler key fob. You got the key that pops out. You have the unlock, lock function, the remote start, and we'll quickly do the remote start, but it's low on fuel, so it'll probably pop off. We'll see what happens. Boom! And you can see the LED lights in the back. But that's what she sounds like. So this is pretty neat. You actually get keyless entry even in the back, and then set to pipe your hand right there, and then it'll unlock it. So you open up the bottom part first, and you got to get this just all the way out of the way, and then pull up the window. Now here is the rear of the North Edition. Under here you can store like the screws and everything for the hard top. You do get a 12-volt here on the side. Alpine sound system as well, and then also the other stuff that's kind of just thrown in here. But also notice that this part is body painted to match the exterior, which is a nice little touch. And then when you're done with everything, just pop the window back down, pop the door into place. Now let's finish things up in the rear. So yes, there are LED lights. I showed that to you earlier. Still have the camera in the center, and then this is a better look at the tire. Thank goodness Jeep has the tire on the back so we can really see what it is made of. But there's your North Edition badge. So you pretty much only get one badge on the exterior, letting people know it's a North Edition. Parking sensors along the rear, and then you get like a little singular tow hook right there. But that is everything for the back. Coming to the rear, you've got nice leather padding with stitching here on the back, and then you got one of the little door handles. Now, the North Edition comes with cloth seats as standard, like this particular one has. We are gonna pop in, so that side step kind of helps out a little bit, kind of doesn't though. But you can see legroom in here is pretty decent. You get a little pocket in the back, and then, yeah, pretty nice cloth, like just the feeling of it. The rear passengers do get a couple vents in the back. They can control the windows. There is a full power outlet, a couple of cup holders. And then if you guys are wondering, in terms of headroom back here, I'm 5'11", and well, the roof is pretty high, so you are good to go as long as you don't like lean back too far and hit that part in the back. Now before we show you the keyless entry, it does have blind spot monitoring, and then again, keyless entry functions just like the back door of the Wrangler. Notice the same material, just a little bit longer. And then you got the door handle again, a couple of controls for the lock and unlock. And then here are the seats in the front. They do say Sahara at the top, which might be a little bit confusing again because this is the North Edition. Again, they're manually adjustable. There's your light controls. And then there is the control to adjust the steering wheel. You got rocker panels on the back to adjust the radio stations and the volume. And there's one more look before we pop in. Now starting up the North Edition, just got to press that. And then it'll show kind of a little Jeep say Sahara right there in the center. And everything will pop onto life. Here's the steering wheel in the Wrangler. Zooming in, we've got the cruise control on this side. On the other side, we have all the controls for the little center stack, voice command and phone controls. And then you have the white contrasted stitching with the smooth leather that goes all the way around. That is your stock for the turn signal, and then also to do the high beams. And then the windshield wiper stock is just on the other side. Here is the center gauge cluster. So we do have RPMs over there on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed, and then here in the center, it does give you a couple bits of information. The one thing that I do want to highlight is just this little off-road section. So definitely useful when you are going on the off-road, just because it's going to show you everything, especially the degrees. It's just really important. Now, Fuel economy, all that kind of stuff, a little bit less important because, I mean, you are driving a giant block of cheese. Now here's the infotainment system. First off, I'll show you guys the backup camera. Resolution on it is really solid in my opinion. But with the rest of this, it's actually pretty neat. So you actually do get navigation, which is just down there at the bottom with the North Edition. You get satellite radio as well. It kind of adds some cool tech stuff. And then notice heated seats and a heated steering wheel. And you can even pop to the backup camera at any point. So that's a nice little thing. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for the infotainment system. Response time on it's good. And you guys have seen this infotainment system a million times. Now down below here, we've got all of our analog controls for the climate. For example, your heated seat controls. And then it is cool, you do get hill descent control. And then you can turn the auto stop start off if you don't like it. Window controls are in the center. And then under here, you get a couple of USBs and auxiliary. You get a 12 volt under that one. Some extra storage in this little area. This is the shifter for the 8-speed automatic. You can shift the gears yourself if you'd like in that manual mode. And then here is the shifter for the driveline. So notice that you do get the 2-wheel high, 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel high part-time, and then you got the neutral and then the 4-wheel low for the different drive modes. The cup holder situation here, and then a regular e-brake. Now here's the center console, which actually has nice stitching. Opening it up, you got that top tray. Opening it up further, get some more storage space and another little USB. Get this nice little grab handle. I like how they've kind of like taken the interior color, brought it in to the interior a little bit. It's just a nice little touch, and they got nice stitching up here at the top of the dash as well. There is the glove box, and that's everything for this little part. Now the North Edition up top is just like all the other Wranglers. You get the Freedom top, so you can take off this little part just using these little levers, and then behind the sun visor as well, and then back here. So pretty easy in here. The rest of the part, you do have to use tools to get it out. Do get a universal garage door opener up here, and I recommend this in all my Wrangler videos. If you do buy a Wrangler, get the padding. You can actually buy it after the fact, or you can get it from the factory. Get the insulation at the top of the roof because it definitely helps out, especially on the highway in terms of sound deadening on the interior. Now that you guys have seen the interior of this North Edition, let's quickly talk about pricing. So this particular North Edition, with all of the features that it has, the body colored top, North Edition, and then the LED lights, and there's a couple other things that I might have missed. But regardless, this one stickers for about $49,000 for any type of market adjustment. That all being said, let's take this North Edition out, see how she drives. Well, let's quickly talk about visibility here in this North Edition. Visibility is unchanged compared to any other Wrangler over the hood, so it's actually really easy to see over the hood. Now, there is visibility through mirrors. Remember, you do get blind spot monitoring in this particular one. There's your other mirror. And then here's all throughout the rear. And again, it's a bunch of like very large square windows. So visibility in the Wrangler is not an issue, especially if you take off the roof. Then, I mean, yeah, you get perfect visibility. But that all being said, well, let's set off. Well, I'm setting off here in the Wrangler, and by the way, sorry about the camera angle, but the Wranglers, as you guys know, the windshield's like completely vertical pretty much, and so, yeah, I tried. But setting off in this North Edition, to kind of like describe the ride quality, it's actually like right between a Sahara and a Rubicon in terms of ride quality, so it's not quite as smooth as a Sahara, but it's also not as rough as a Rubicon, just from the normal ride quality standpoint, which is just pretty interesting. And I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of like sort of in between, not quite, but it's kind of like a sort of in between a Rubicon and a Sahara, and that's why I really like this package. But coming up here, kind of turning just a little bit, the steering feels pretty direct for a Wrangler, and again, for a Wrangler, right? Wrangler steering does have a little bit of vagueness with it, but this is actually pretty good for a Jeep. And I mean, just doing a little bit, yeah, there's definitely some vagueness, but again, it's pretty good for a Wrangler. I'm getting my first like miniature acceleration here. So this is like just partial throttle, and it's pretty good on partial throttle for the acceleration. I mean, it's not crazy quick or anything like that, but now we're gonna get our full-blown acceleration coming up right here. Okay, let's see what she's made of. Woo! It kind of had like a punch at the beginning. Like initially it was just like boom, and then it kind of died off a little bit, which I expected. So you kind of get a punch, you get into the turbos a little bit, and then it just kind of like dies until it gets into the next gear at least. But from the acceleration for a Wrangler, it's actually pretty quick. For a normal SUV, it's definitely a little bit on the slow side, I would say, but again, it's not bad by any means. And now, I mean, just driving here, it's really comfortable. Again, like the seat's actually really comfortable. I really like these cloth seats. I didn't think I would because I usually prefer to have leather upholstery, but these cloth seats are actually really comfortable to sit in. They really support you pretty well. And this is actually just, for a Jeep, I feel like this is really good. And I think this is a pretty cool package. And really where I would see this package, I guess, being a great value is if you are buying a Wrangler and you might take it off-road like once or twice, right? You're not going to be taking it off-road all the time, so you don't want to spend the premium on the Rubicon. Then I think this is where this North Edition really shines, because it is really comfortable on road. So you still gotta have a Jeep Wrangler, you gotta have a comfortable drive on road, but again, you aren't having to pay extra for the Rubicon package, and you don't have to give up some stuff you have to give up with the Rubicon, right? The Rubicon's louder in terms of tire noise, it's not as smooth, and there's a little bit more vagueness, so it's not like it's hard to drive, but it's not as easy to drive. And so this definitely is just giving up a lot less compared to a Rubicon. And so if that's where you're at in the market, where you want an off-road SUV, but you are very rarely going to take it off-road, then you should definitely, at that point, check out this North Edition. That is going to sum things up for our video on the 2020 Jeep Wrangler North Edition. As always, again, a huge shout and thank you to the Jeep here in Sandy, Utah for providing us with the North Edition. Again, I'm going to include a link in the description below to their inventory. Check them out. I will see all of you in that next video.